Hey everyone, Tyler and Greg here from River Solutions, here to talk to you a little bit today about some different leadership uh, tactics and techniques. So Greg, you've mentioned to me before that River Solutions can transform your leadership team in 6 months towards long-term viability. Is that true? Is that something that you can strive towards with River Solutions, and how exactly do you go about doing that?
Thank you, Tyler. And absolutely, yes. We've worked with several clients where we've worked where we've brought their leadership team from working in silos and really working individually to working as a cohesive team throughout the organization. One of the things that we really value is this implementing and installing the culture of continuous improvement into every organization that we work with. It has a real balanced approach and makes actually leadership easier to do. So I wanted to share with you just what the pillars of culture of continuous improvement were. First off, we want to make sure that everyone is aligned on the leadership team, that we take your strategy and make sure that everyone's working towards the same goal. We want to ensure that you have a safe place for people to innovate and change, and making change normal and systematic is really valuable here. We also want to ensure that employees are empowered and that they have the training and the resources they need to get the job done. And of course, all of this is process based because we can't improve without having some place to start. So having that establishing process and leading towards process is really key to the culture of continuous improvement.
It sounds like a lot of this starts really with the leadership side. And all good organizations are really driven by strong leaders. So what sort of role does leadership play in this culture of continuous improvement?
Tyler, a lot of our research has been around how teams are effective, and many times the dysfunction that occurs in a company's in culture happens because of leadership, because we don't communicate and because we don't motivate. So some of the problems that we do see are leaders don't motivate their staff. They're just tools. They really don't feel valued within their organization. Um, Sometimes they're so busy doing the things and they're not communicating what their expectations are of their employees, and they find themselves working on their own, not as a leadership team, not with their team, but maybe even solving problems for their team, but not really enabling them to do so. What we try to strive to do is create a company with clear communication at every level. So coaching and motivating people to work together to solve the same problem. We want to ensure that everyone's expectations are clear, they understand their roles, and they understand what outcomes they need at the end of the day. And everyone's working together towards a common goal. We're all marching to the same drum. There's not separate motivations, but we're all playing a role in one big to deliver the best product possible.
Yeah, that sounds really great. And I've heard a lot of different organizations talk about the commitment to continuous improvement, and that message really comes from top down. A lot of times, though, in these organizations, that strategy or sort of goal falls flat. So, how do you take it from maybe what looks really good on paper and actually implement it within an organization?
Really good question, Tyler. You know, we see this iceberg of a winning culture, and this comes out of the kata realm where the culture of continuous improvement sits just under the water. This is where you are working and bringing value to the top, so that your customers and clients see the results and the product and the achievements that you make for their to solve their problems. They see the systems and practices and principles, but they don't see what's really going on underneath. We take this culture of continuous improvement with that structure we just showed you and using coaching and empowerment of employees to bring that and teach that culture throughout the organization so that those values and those systems come to the surface and show positive results.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And with it being sort of below the surface, a lot of times that isn't noticeable to customers or clients, and those gaps can sort of emerge beneath the surface. Is there a way that, or a process that River takes to sort of address those gaps or identify them and go through a different process to sort of eliminate those and create positive change in an organization?
Absolutely. We have this process where we start, and every process starts with some discovery. And once we understand the company's role and culture and processes, then we can bring that that culture from a current state to transform it into something new. After we transform it into something new, then we stick with the client and really support them to improve their process. So let's go over each one of these things. First off, in the discover phase, we're really learning about the company. We want to look at their organizational gaps. We want to discover what their process is, their cultures, maybe some of their hangups, and we want to do some initial process mapping so that we kind of establish that process based philosophy. Once we really get a good grasp of the organization and what their priorities are, then we go into the transformation phase. First off, we teach a little bit about coaching, empowerment, and really working together as a group and as a team. We go into continuing to define this process that we started off in the mapping process, and then ensuring that everyone's goals and expectations are really aligned with everyone else, so everyone's working and marching along with the same at the same beat. After this is done and we have a lot of good action items that are driving us towards improvement, we want to come back and apply these principles with some impactful coaching and really applying it to some real life situations on a week to week basis. We'll also then check in and see how we're doing with this transformation and see how and get you to the point of actual implementation and realization of a culture of continuous improvement. And then we really rally the people together so that you've gone from maybe having gaps in your leadership and firefights to this proactive leadership team that everyone's working together and working as the same team for the same goal.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the culture of continuous improvement really starts with a mindset shift, sort of from the top down in leadership. Um, is that correct? Am I sort of on the right track there?
Absolutely, you're on the right track. What makes the culture of continuous work is just a change in people's mindset, and I call this the four H's. First off, we want to instill honesty. A lot of people don't come forward with problems and mistakes because they feel like they're going to get chastised or criticized for it. But if you create a safe space where problems are opportunities for improvement, not for criticism and ridicule, we really need to develop that aspiration of being honest with each other and really trusting each other. Secondly, we recognize that we may not have as a group or as an individual the right answer every time. So a bit of humility and recognizing that somebody might have a really good idea that we can incorporate into the organization is really important. So building on that humility and really growing together with each other. Third, you can't take everyone seriously. You got to have some humor in it, and you got to make this a fun process to drive improvement. And then, really, what's important to have as a leader is to ensure that we're instilling the new habits. A lot of times, when we get into crisis mode, we fall back on our old habits, and we have to resist that and really push through these new habits and see it through, so we can solve those problems as they arise. So that honesty, humility, and humor and habit really come together as a different kind of leader than one that's always trying to problem solve and firefight.
Yeah, that all sounds really great. And I love how you've just sort of outlined the roadmap from beginning to end and really implementing that culture in a way that sticks with the company as well. If there was a company that wanted to reach out to you to do this sort of work for them or to look at their sort of leadership and culture, what would be the best way to get into contact with you?
Absolutely, Tyler. This just starts with a conversation. So reach out. This is my email address. You can give me a call or reach out to me on LinkedIn. We're totally available. You can go out to our website at riversolutions.com and hit the button at the bottom left right hand corner and schedule time to meet. And we look forward to hearing from you and providing you more information about the importance of culture of continuous improvement.
Perfect. I think